Chapter 109. I am Marine Commodore Hina. I stared at the eyes of the woman, Hina. I've spent almost 20 years in this world, from the point where all these people were fictional to me to this point, standing in front of the person I overlapped with a blank page. Actually, rather than thinking it like this, the clearer way to explain Hina's condition would be to call it a software update, a massive update for the software called Hina. In the update, the software Hina was changed, but the hardware was still the same. In reality, Hina isn't the only specimen. I have some spies like her among the Marines. They were exactly the people who let me know about the WG's suspiciousness about me. Achieving this goal was easier than I had initially thought. But there is a problem with this. I can accidentally kill a person while using this technique, so I refrain from doing so most of the time. I necessarily didn't care about Hina, so I tried it on her. That doesn't mean I can use this on Shirahoshi or Boa Hancock. Sad. I loosened my lips. Hina. Hina's eyes focused on me. You are not supposed to say, I. Get it? She would be very suspicious if she talks like that. Use the third person to refer to yourself. Don't miss these important details. Use your memory. I don't want to correct you another time. Hina slowly opened her lips, but her words only came out a few seconds after that. Hina understands. I patted her shoulders. Good. Start simulating your memory to not mess up like this again, or you will be punished severely. Although I did say the word punish very lightly, she made a heavy face. Her gulping sound didn't take long until it reached my ears. Hina can't feel any emotion, though. In specific situations, she would imitate the reaction that she should have as a normal person. But either way, she isn't completely emotionless, because as long as she's around me, she would feel the emotion fear, though only for me. Meanwhile, while she is not in with me, she is a fearless beast, a killing machine who would attack without caring about her life, though she is ordered to not act like that always, and only activate that mode in critical situations. I again patted her shoulders. Anyway, Hina, someone will be coming through the door. You have to greet her respectively, all right? Instantly, Hina nodded lightly. Then, looking at the door, I called out, Robin, I'm done. Come inside. Just as I said this, Robin pushed the door and walked inside. Instantly, Hina bowed a 90-degree bow to Robin. Welcome, Master's sister. I see. She caught on the word sis when I referred to Robin last time. The human brain is indeed interesting. Robin flinched, seeing Hina bow like that. First she glanced at my smiling face before she shuddered. What happened to her? She seems a little different. I stayed silent while looking at her. I did say I have plans on the captives. Robin seemed to frown, hearing me. Her questioning eyes were screaming, What happened? I just made a stern face. There was no reason to act childish with her. Hey, I can't reveal all the cards to you. I paused. Look at it like this. What if someone kidnaps you, lets an emperor capture you, and then use a devil fruit to read your mind? That would be devastating, correct? Robin seemed to make a dejected face. Rolling my eyes inwardly, I walked behind her and hugged her tightly as I bit her ears lightly. Try to understand, okay? Robin's body jerked on my teeth, which had electricity flowing through. She seemed to enjoy everything I did to her now. She then removed my hands and looked away. We will continue this later. First, let's finish the job here. Robin pushed Amon away and patted her jacket. This woman did say reinforcements will come here. Indeed, Hina did mention that. I then looked at her. Hina, tell me more about what you know about the reinforcements. Basically, when Marines on the ship learned that the Sky people were attacking the nobles, they let the news out to HQ and asked for reinforcements. In response, the Fleet Admiral permitted a buster call, though he didn't say anything about sending another admiral. However, since there were no other reports from this side, the reinforcements would most likely be more than what was asked at first. Nonetheless, even then, for the Marines to leave the HQ and go to the West Blue, then reach the summit of the West, it will take at least 3 days to finally reach Skypiean. 3 days. So we had that many days to prepare for the fight. This time the casualties would be smaller than before as well. However, I don't want to fight anymore. There is no gain from any of the new fights. I gained everything that I wanted, and all that was free real estate, since I never thought all this would happen after the chief pulled this shitty ceremony. That's right. I need to have a chat with the chief later. And anyway, rather than preparing for another battle, I should think about how to avoid this. Looking at Hina's eyes while my head was resting on Robin's lap, I opened my lips. Listen here, Hina. We will make a plan. You will try your best to free Marines and run away with them. That way, the Fleet Admiral would ask you many questions. You have to say everything I teach you. Is that clear? My personal 02 nodded. Yes? I grinned. Through Robin's clear blue eyes, I could see it wasn't a pleasant one. Fuck it. It was finally time to stop playing the game as a warlord. I will pull a Blackbeard on those bastards. General Pov. Whoa! Stop them! Shoot! The Shandians were busy hunting the Marines who were somehow freed and currently running towards their ship. Don't worry, we already destroyed their ships. Wait, one of our ships is missing. Shit! One of them stole it, but how? Up until an hour ago, Marines were being taken inside the shrine, confusing everyone. When about 20% of the Marines were taken, a break happened and they started to run from the shrine. Not only that, the other Marines were magically freed as well. It seemed like the work of a devil fruit. It was quite confusing how they were able to run from Amon's presence, but assuming that the previous battle tired him down, the winged people were now trying to stop the break themselves. The pirates weren't freed, though they were looking expectantly at the Marines, who just ignored them and ran. Bang, bang! The sky sharpshooters started to shoot towards the jailbreakers, thus killing some and missing some, though the mobs made it possible for the high rankers to reach the stolen ship successfully. Damn! They are getting away! Our people are recovering, so we didn't even have our full force. Talk less, shoot more. Bang, bang. While they kept shooting, the Marines were able to barely run away. The reason was that the Shandia was on the recovering side and didn't expect an outbreak like this. After all, their lord is omniscient. He should have seen this coming. Unfortunately, their lord was the one behind the outbreak to begin with. This will make sense to the Fleet Admiral more than the ruler of Skypiean was kind, so they let us go. Through today's action, Amon had many spies inside the Marine HQ. He would be under their nose, while they would never ever even think of this case. This was particularly easy. However, there was a rule. If you want to fool the enemy, fool your ally first. That's why he didn't reveal all this to the Shandians. After all, the thing he said to Robin about getting her mind read can actually happen to any of the people here. Amon looked down from the air for a while before starting to fly around the forest. He was looking for something in the forest where he has planted thousands of different fruit trees over the years, a perfect spot for devil fruit spawning. Meanwhile, Hina was in the ship, which had gone far from here already. Say, Commodore, we should let the HQ know of this quickly. All the vice admirals were killed. Now you need to lead us from here. Hina was breathing heavily from the chase. Huff, huff. Hina gets it. Call them. Hina will talk. Gasping for breath, Hina answered while lying on the ship with her arms spread on the floor. Nobody would ever doubt her. She was like a program under a computer from whom she can't disobey any order. Not long after, the Marine soldier connected to the HQ through a Den Mushi, and soon after ringing for a while, the call was picked. Hello, Sengoku speaking. In the Marine HQ, Marineford, two old men were sitting in the Fleet Admiral's office. "Hello, Sengoku speaking." One of them was the Fleet Admiral himself, Sengoku, who was speaking to a snail. "It's Commodore Hina," the person on the other side said. "Meanwhile, hey Sengoku, it's that brat Hina. She said she had something to talk about with me after she returns from this mission." Beside Sengoku, another old man, Marine Hero Garp, was sitting when eating crackers. But then there was the World Noble Humiliation stream from Skypiean. I wonder what she reports she will make this time. Crunch. Garp seemed chill even after he heard the news. In fact, he was happy. He would have liked to see the face of the man who did all of this. Sengoku controlled himself from screaming, "All this will come in his shoulders." He rather focused on Hina's report. "Commodore, speak." "The situation is terrible here. We were defeated, we were captured and kept as hostages for a while." Garp stopped eating. "Defeating a Marine amounting to a buster call will need some power, but that's impossible when an Admiral intervenes. Just around an hour ago, Hina was able to escape with a few surviving Marines. Hina proposes the reinforcements should stop, or their condition would be similar to ours." Sengoku slammed the table. "What about Kizaru? Don't tell me he didn't reach the sky yet." The stream ended before Kizaru reached the sky. Garp frowned while Sengoku was shouting he didn't believe Kizaru would be late. Even if it's him, he won't procrastinate so much. There must be some other reason, and his question was answered by Hina the next moment. Admiral Kizaru was defeated, and most probably killed as well. Garp and Sengoku's eyes arched up. Garp was about to choke on his food. "Cough, Sengoku. Ask her about the details. This is a serious situation. The death of an admiral isn't something to take lightly." I know. Now shut up, my head is itching." "Hina, tell us everything in detail. Don't leave anything," Sengoku asked, already expecting to hear the intervention of an emperor. "Things started like this. Are you actually saying that Lucifer killed Kizaru? No emperors were interfering? If that's the case, if Lucifer really was emperor level, then he will have to call back the buster call. Hina is only guessing from the massive explosion. Hina also saw Admiral's severed arm in that man's hand." Sengoku stayed silent for a while before opening his mouth. "We will talk more after you reach the HQ. For now, rest. I will still send reinforcements. They will give you the medical support needed." Hina understands. Beep. The call ended as heavy silence fell upon the room. Just the Goro Goro no Mi should be enough to grant him a 500 million bounty. But he is a master of 6 powers as well, and even his wing fighting style is dangerous. Sengoku started to label out everything written under Amon's name. He should be equal or more dangerous than Mihawk. So 500 million is too measly. After all, he is definitely faster than Kizaru to have injured him to that extent, and he did all that to those nobles. Garp frowned as he placed his snacks on the table. The nobled might even ask for a 10 billion bounty. But that would break the balance. We need to be careful with the bounty. Garp was right. If a young emperor suddenly had bounties surpassing the old ones, they will definitely target him. Although this might seem like a "wait, isn't that better" plan, it's like summoning the devil. They assumed after Amon would have gotten defeated, the emperors might ally or start a war among themselves. Either way, it would have been a bad decision. Then are you saying we should rate him above 2 billion as his first bounty? If that really happens, then he would be instantly classified as an emperor because of his alliance and influence throughout the world. Garp has a few occasional meetups with Amon, and they had a favorable relationship as well. But a criminal is a criminal. Sengoku got up from his seat. "That's all for later. The first thing we need to do is to get back the nobles from there. I heard he still has them in his hands." Garp yawned. "Yes, it's a bad move to keep them hostage. I know it better than anyone." If he doesn't let them go, the old dogs will probably send me or you there. Sengoku nodded silently. That's what I'm saying. The government will do anything to get the nobles back, but if they are dead, Sengoku shook his head. Anyway, Garp, I will notify the elders quickly. Though I believe they will send us anyway after that live stream. Sengoku sighed and nodded and left the room. Garp sighed in disappointment. Kid, what you did is a bad move. This world is too harsh for a brat like you. Shaking his head, he picked up his snacks. But I won't go easy on you, Afo. Meanwhile, in the upper yard, the Alabaster guests were preparing to leave. Cobra was shaking his hands with Amon. Lucifer, it's sad that such a celebration was ruined like that, but we need to leave now. We would have stayed for a few more days, but after what happened, but the Marines might come to Alabaster since we are allied. Anon nodded. He, along with a few other people, were on the shore, bidding farewell to Cobra and Vivi. It's fine, father-in-law. I would have loved to talk about Vivi and my marriage, but this is a bad situation, Amon stated, though I'm eager to know what you would do about this marriage after this incident. You are aware we will be targeted by the world government and many other problems will also occur. Cobra made a hesitating face. I know. I need some time to think. Cobra knew that Alabaster might not be spared from this as well, so he wasn't instantly rejecting the offer. If things look bad, it's better to be together. After witnessing Amon's devastating powers, he won't mind taking his side if Marines do decide to target them as well. Amon smiled reassuringly. Do not worry, I will make sure to make the government go after you guys as well. It all depends on the political games. Then we will take our leave. Behind Cobra, Vivi peeked at Amon's face with red cheeks, though she again hid behind Cobra after Raki glared at her. Let's see what happens. Contact me if you want to meet me, father-in-law. I will instantly be there. Cobra nodded lightly and took back his hand. Not long after, they left by the third royal ship. Amon stared at the ship as it finally left the range of normal eyes. By now, the old elders would be decking to launch Garp or Sengoku here. Let's give Maria Joie a visit, shall we? Amon glanced at the people behind him. Raki, look after the sky. I will be back in a few hours. Amon teleported under everyone's eyes, but Oh, also, Amon re-teleported here. Ask Motor Gang to fix my baby bike. It's terribly injured since I went overboard to reach here as soon as possible. Amon didn't wait for them to answer and teleported again. He had a bag on his side, a few camera dial on them.